You're watching Extras from the Extension on Eagle Community Television. This show is brought to you by Carico Implement.
Well, as the weather warms up, people are getting anxious to get out into their flower beds and into their gardens. And this is a really good time to talk about something that's really important, and that's soil testing. If you've never had your soil tested before, this is an opportunity to find out exactly what's in your soil. So you want to find out what the soil pH is, which generally around here our soil is very alkaline or very high in pH, but that soil test will tell you exactly what that number is. You can also find out what your organic matter content is. This is important because the more organic matter you have, the better in a lot of cases. If you have very heavy clay soil, organic matter, higher percentage will help loosen that soil up, make it more available for water to run through it versus running off. It'll also help it to hold that moisture. And if you have really sandy soil, which likes to have moisture just run right through it, organic matter can help hold that moisture in the soil a little bit longer. Another thing that you could find out with the soil test is actually how much of your nutrient levels you have there. So you can find out your nitrate nitrogen levels, your phosphorus and potassium levels. Those are really the basic soil test package things that you would find out. Now when you go to take a soil sample, you know, we're here in the flower bed just on the south side of the extension office. It's a pretty long, skinny strip, but to get a good representation of this entire area, you'd want to take several random samples throughout the area. And with a flower bed, usually I recommend you dig down about 6 to 8 inches or even a little bit deeper, and you can certainly just use a regular old spade or a sharpshooter or anything like that, but you want to go ahead and make a hole. And then once you have your hole dug, it'd be much easier if I had a big spade, but we're using this little hand trowel for now. Once you have that hole dug, make sure there's no debris at the top, like grass, or in this case we have some mulch here. But you want to make sure and go ahead then and take a nice slice of soil off the side of that hole, so maybe about 1 inch thick. Just take your slice off the side and then go ahead and throw that into a bucket. Like I said, you want a random sampling throughout the whole area. So in this long, narrow strip here along the building, I might take 6 to 8, maybe even 10 different random samples like this, mix them all together in a bucket, and then bring us about a pint, or just take about a little plastic baggie full of soil to your local extension office. Once you do that, they can have you fill out some paperwork. We'll send it into the K-State Soil Testing Lab, and then they will send the results back to the local extension agent. And in the case here in Ellis County, I will actually look at those, make some recommendations, and then send those results back to you with the recommendations. You know, it's amazing sometimes if you've been fertilizing for a long time, especially in lawns, those phosphorus and potassium levels can be really sky high. And so it's a really nice thing to know, because then you know you do not need to add any more. You know, why waste your money and time spreading phosphorus and potassium on your yard when it's not necessary and will not do any good to increase those numbers? So soil testing is a really good thing to do. One thing to consider when you're getting ready with your plantings this year, you know, I talked about organic matter. That's very important to go ahead and incorporate into the soil, and it's really easy to do it before you plant versus afterwards. Now, with organic matter, by that I mean anything that will break down over time. So could be something like compost. This is just some compost from the City of Hayes' compost site. Could be peat moss that you would purchase. There are many different forms of organic matter, but the key is to get this incorporated into your existing soil. So with compost like this, I would go ahead and just put 1 inch or so on the surface of your garden or your flower bed, and then till that in, or, you know, ideally spade it in, but a lot of us like to use those rototillers, so that's what I would go ahead and do. This will help increase that organic matter content. It'll help to provide just a little bit of nutrition for your soil, and overall improve the soil to provide you better plants, hopefully in the long run. Now, if you have existing perennials like I have in this bed already starting to come up on the south side of this building, and you're wondering, well, I can't really till around those, how am I going to incorporate some organic matter? What I would do is just simply kind of spread some compost around them, and then if you have a hand trowel or some of those little hand rakes, just kind of rough it in, smooth it in, and then as it rains or as you water, that'll be incorporated into the soil. So if you have any questions about soil improvement, soil testing, or just general tips on how to get your gardens ready for the spring, don't hesitate to contact your local extension office for more information.
You're watching Extras from the Extension on Eagle Community Television. This show is brought to you by Carico Implement.
Spring is here, and that means it's time to come out and visit Carico Implement in Hays, Kansas for all your lawn care needs. We stock and sell the full line of John Deere riding lawn equipment, along with Honda walk-behind mowers and generators. We also offer the full lineup of steel power products. If your project requires even more muscle, check out our full lineup of John Deere compact tractors and skid loaders. And don't forget, we have the parts and services to keep you up and running all spring long. So whatever your spring lawn care and maintenance needs are, come on out to Carico Implement for a solution that fits.